let me just start right over everyone. Hi, everyone. Welcome to a new dawn in study abroad. My name is Kevin Fitzgerald. I'm the lead advisor here. And today we're really looking forward to talking about the reemergence of education abroad. So we're going to cover Miami's stance on study abroad, what programs we have on offer, and really we're going to start focusing on fall 2021 and beyond. But we're also going to look kind of to the past to see what the future will be holding for us. And then we'll definitely have some time for some questions. So what does education abroad look like at Miami? And again, if you have any questions throughout any of this time, please use the chat feature within Zoom. So we have semester-long options. And think of the semester-long options broken down into three distinct sections. One is the Miami Run programs. These Miami Run programs are one that Miami sets up, approves, how you pay Miami, you earn Miami credit hours, etc. Our most popular option that a lot of students have heard about is our Luxembourg program, also known as MUDEC. Excitingly, this fall 2021, we're going to be updating the academics. Hooray! It's been a long time coming. A lot of work has gone into this over the last 5 years of figuring out what would be best. So we've actually reduced, one of the big highlights is that we reduced the amount of classroom focus on language because a lot of students were petitioning out of that and integrated it into a Lux 101 course. What's really nice about that is you can learn about the history of Luxembourg, why Miami's in Luxembourg, and actually going to start learning some Luxembourgish, some French, and some German. The key and trick you always have to remember about Luxembourg is they're a very small country. So what they did is they picked the best of all their neighbors. So they like to figure it out. They're like, we took all the cultures, took the best from them, and now we're Luxembourgish, the best of best. We certainly have some student teaching abroad in Luxembourg and Taiwan. Luxembourg seems to be the most successful right now, but Taiwan should be opening up soon. Again, we're all kind of in this whole COVID world, right? And then we have domestic programs within the United States. We have an Inside Washington that's been extremely successful. Students live and work in DC, they intern at different nonprofits, at congressional offices, etc. We have an OTR residency program, and we have a digital innovation program. Those are very hands-on activities, usually very specific to certain majors, but they are open to a lot of different people. So if you're thinking of maybe perhaps being involved in something different and off Miami's campus, but you might want to stay domestic for the foreseeable future, those programs do exist. And then finally, we have these Miami linked programs, right? So a Miami linked program is one that Miami is a part of. You're paying Miami, but once you're actually on that program, you're with another provider. Someone else is actually in that country helping you and supporting you and teaching you the courses. So the most popular one that's been around for as long as study abroad has been, is the exchange program. So what's pretty cool about that, what it is you pay Miami tuition, sometimes housing and dining as well, and you go to another location. And while you're there, some student there has paid for you to be there, just like you've paid someone to be in Oxford. I always kind of make the joke, it's like a Freaky Friday, switch the bodies, where you are paying Miami like normal and scholarships and everything go with you, but you happen to go to a different campus. Some popular options of those are ones in Helsinki, our ones in Japan, and our one in Glasgow. Co-sponsored is our brand new programming that we've started. Co-sponsored allows you to take your Miami scholarships with you because we've selected a few programs where you are charged Miami tuition, but then again, you can take your Miami scholarship with you. So we have a really cool program that is running in Florence this current spring. We have a student who's leaving here in the next couple of weeks. We have a program in CEA that runs through an organization called CEA that's in Seville. I just got a notification. We have some more people trying to join us. Hold on one second. Let me see if I can't answer that real quick. And then, so we will be showing you here shortly just how to. Gotta remember what the. Karen, can you remind me real quick what the code is? I seem to have forgotten. 106, 208. Yep. All right. Sorry about that, everyone. And so our co-sponsor programs, what I would really encourage you all to look at is also we have a program in Prague. I think that one's going to be very popular. We have one in Florence, and then we have one in Sevilla. Sevilla is also going to be a really popular one because you're at the University of Sevilla, you're with a host family, and you are learning Spanish and on site, right? Pretty cool. And then our School of Business, FSB, they have some really cool run programs as well. The difference between a co-sponsored and FSB semester is that with the School of Business, you will have to take some business courses. But many times you are actually able to participate in an FSB program, even if you are not a business student, just because maybe you want to go to that location. And one of those popular locations is Barcelona, one of those global cities, right, where all the cultures are melding. And then another one is in Budapest. Pretty cool. There's a really awesome um, business school right there in the heart of the city of Budapest, right across the chain bridge, if anyone's familiar with that. And it's a very popular option. But again, you do have to take 2 business courses, but there's also a wide selection of other courses. And then certainly there are these outside of Miami approved programs. Okay, sorry. Next, we have summer and winter options. Again, we're really thinking that this summer is going to be extremely limited if we are able to run anything. What we have noticed is we do have to make those decisions here shortly in the next probably about 3 weeks. And at this time, most of our locations are holding quarantines. So it's going to be really hard to run a 3-week program if 2 of those weeks you're stuck inside of a hotel or a quarantine center. Um, but again, Miami has a lot of programs that we do both study abroad and study away. We've already talked about those. And again, we're going to show you the website. We're going to be able to find a lot of that information for further research on your own. Okay. We do not have any Miami linked programs over the summer, and we do have tons of approved programs. What is the most popular option here at Miami? The honest answer is that summer and winter is our most popular here at Miami and on the faculty-led programs. We have somewhere in the vein of around 800 students participating on those programs. Okay, so just to kind of look back, what was it like in Luxembourg and what is it like in Luxembourg right now, right? So we certainly have limited enrollment in classroom management to increase social distancing, just like you're seeing in Oxford. We do have designated quarantine location if anyone does become positive. That did happen last semester. 2 or 3 students had to be removed from their homestay, go to the quarantine center. It's just an apartment that's really close to the castle. They did have a shortened semester last term, which was, we were pretty grateful as soon as things started getting pretty bad in November and some shutdowns were coming, students were headed home. And we do have pretty strong health and safety protocols, which we're really hoping that with this new set of 68 students, that we will have another safe semester. And in general, just like here in the United States, masks are mandated in many areas and on public buses, et cetera. What was kind of unique and something that most likely will hold through the fall and even possibly spring of next year is that COVID tests had to be taken and come back in negative about 48 hours before a flight. So a lot of our students will take the advantage of flying from, say, Luxembourg to Rome or Luxembourg to Berlin. And if they don't have an actual active negative test taken within 48 hours, they were not allowed to get on those flights. So our students got pretty good at figuring out how and where tests were being administered and how to get those. And a lot of the results were just texted directly to the students. And then they were also finding when they got to locations, a lot of them were mentioning that they were at 30% or more reduced capacity. And we're really expecting that to hold for another year or so. So right now, again, students are there. They did a little bit of a new visa process before they left, which is pretty cool. You're actually getting your student visa before you go. If anybody has any older siblings or know anyone else who's been to Lux before in the past, they used to just get their student visas on site, but now we do that before they leave. And then our other programs running in the spring, a lot of them did not run. A lot of them just had too low enrollment that the money just didn't make sense, or they're doing it for less than 90 days. Really, if you look across the broad spectrum of what's out there and what's available to study abroad this current spring and even into this fall, Miami's really leading the way. There's these rankings that we're actually like, oh my gosh, we might actually jump up in them just because we've been able to have such successful semesters with our students. So again, we're gonna really look at fall 2021 as our most hopeful. If you kind of just play the game in your own head of like, okay, right now it's January, we're still mostly in phase one across the country where it's just the first batches of vaccines are going out. We're really hoping that students, our own students, and even if you've had COVID in the past, you're most likely going to still need to get a vaccine before traveling. We're really hoping that by general public that honestly, we're looking at July and August as like the most hopeful time when it will be available for general people just to get it, say for international travel. Hence, we're saying that summer's most likely not going to happen, especially if they're still holding quarantines. Like honestly, for fall, what we're thinking is going to happen is you're going to have proof of a vaccine and still have a requirement once you get on site. All these things are going to add up that at least for the next year until I think cases are a little bit more controlled, people are going to take as an intense stance as possible. So again, we're thinking vaccine and possible quarantine will be a requirement even through this fall. And also an increased limited enrollment. But you know what? I really think that limited enrollment's not going to prevent you from going if you really want to go this fall. But I think people will just be self-selecting, which will increase the limited enrollment. We do have a question about summer Lux. Summer has not been determined yet. Uh, Really, what we're seeing is the faculty-led programs in particular are canceling, mostly because faculty members here at Miami make contracts with certain organizations that we have to pay soon in order to set up the summer. Since Luxembourg is in that same model but completely different, it's being treated differently. I am more hopeful that summer Lux is going to happen than many of the other faculty-led programs. Like we have a number that go to Costa Rica or to Belize. I really don't think those are going to happen. But Luxembourg is a little bit of a different beast and has the cost structure is different, which makes us either able to uh, delay having to cancel it. I don't know if that makes sense. I'm trying to get at, but that's like the more of the issue is that we have bills that are due and we have too much uncertainty. Where with at least our own program in Lux, we can delay way longer on that. But certainly we'll make a call before. It's not like we're going to make a decision like the week before, but we are heavily looking at that, and I think looking at how the spring goes and what the trend lines are looking like. Again, I'm pretty positive for summer Lux, but I'm not as positive for the other summer programs. But if you really, really want to go this summer and the program is open, I would encourage you to apply, and you will get a refund or you will get money back if it ends up not. But that was a good question. All right. So the other important part of this presentation was kind of for you all to be exposed to, all right, what do I do next? How do I get out there? How do I start exploring what I want to do next out there? So actually, if Karen's out there listening, if you wouldn't mind actually putting into the chat box just our general address to our website, that'd be amazing. Thank you. So if you're looking to go this fall, I would really highly encourage any of you out there right now is to set up a meeting with a study abroad advisor. We're here, we're doing meetings as we speak. And when you get on that website, you're actually able to go to advising. and set up a virtual meeting, but you can always just email us and be like, hey, I'm not finding any meeting times. Can I meet with someone? I was at this presentation, and we'll try to fit you in as soon as possible. The reason I would really encourage meeting with us right away is that we do have some deadlines fast approaching, and the sooner you start this process, the easier it is for you. You certainly could drag your feet if you really wanted to go this fall and wait until March or April, but all you're doing is just going to be adding to your stress. So we really encourage you to start that sooner than that. But if you're in the near future, which I'm thinking like winter or spring of next year, or even like 2 summers out from right now is really the time to start exploring our website, seeing what's out there. You can see what we have available this summer. Again, every semester and every term for winter and summer, these are actual faculty members designing these programs, not necessarily from scratch, but they have to resubmit them every term. So if it doesn't run this summer, they will work on one that will be going next summer, and most likely it will be the exact same that's being offered right now. We have a little question that came in. It says, if the student's going abroad this fall does have to serve on quarantine on arrival, how would that work? Would a program? So I got 2 questions that came in twice there. How would the program arrange it for Miami? Yes, so we actually have a couple of students who are going to South Korea. They really wanted to go last year and the program was canceled, but they're going this year. And literally what they're doing is arriving 2 weeks earlier, going to their dorm, and their dorm is quote unquote getting locked down. Food is being delivered, and they're eating and having to hang out in the dorm for 2 weeks, but at least they're able to interact with each other. They have the internet. They're giving, they're saying they're watching a lot of Netflix, and it is boring, as you would imagine in quarantine would be. But then after 2 weeks, they are free to have a full semester, move about, move throughout the country, etc. I said, would the program arrange it? Would Miami? So Miami would certainly arrange it if it's a Miami program. If it's a Miami linked program, the provider would arrange for that. And if it's an approved program, so like really what Miami does is really tries to get you on programs that are going to arrange it beforehand. The only issue that could really arise is this whole things are changing quickly. And that perhaps like the week before you go, they establish a new quarantine. But again, hopefully the trend lines are going in the right direction and that will not happen. And that would be like a worst case scenario. We don't really foresee that happening, but we would be something that would be prearranged. And then I have a question about Leon. I don't have any direct answers on direct programs. So I do not know if this program is still listed. It is still running. But yes, it would. This technically could be something that could be canceled. We, as an office, we as international educators, I mean, we have 3 of our staff members right now in Luxembourg. So like we're open to international travel. We know the risks. We're trying to mitigate those risks as much as possible. But really what it turns out to be is like, what's France at here in the next 3 weeks when we have to make this decision? And the Dijon program is actually one of our longest running, I think of something like 30 years. So in particular, your program also might be lucky enough to be able to drag its feet out due to the relationships that we have with those on site. I'm not, again, intimately familiar with this program as much, but feel free to email us. I'm going to put our emails on here in just a little bit. You can always email us directly and get in touch, and we can get those more details. And that's where we're at with that. I know it's a lot of this unknown. And then to finish up here, if you are looking to go in the near future, again, I was wanting you to explore our website, which we put into the chat box, and academics and timing is something to start thinking about. A lot of our students have Miami global perspectives that they need to do. They have humanities, things that they haven't done, they've been saving. These are what a lot of our students do abroad because it builds in that flexibility. Yes, you might have a major and you can certainly do major courses, but really planning on doing more than 2 major courses abroad. One is you're going to already be pretty busy. because you're going to want to travel and see and do cultural events, etc. And three and two, they usually want you to take a local language course. And three is like a lot of times your major doesn't want you to take more than two abroad. So that's really you need to be flexible and saving some of your Miami plan or electives to be successful. Or perhaps you are a marketing or finance major and going on one of the FSB programs where you're kind of filtered into a number of major minor courses is the right route for you to go so that you are completing more major and minor courses. Okay. We've already had some good questions, concerns, and observations coming in. So certainly this would be a time for any more of those. We are directing you back to our website. We should be getting the new listing of Oh, the other thing I did want to highlight, I was like, where did that go? We are having an education abroad fair coming up in early March. So when you are on our website, we do have a place for our newsletter, or you can stop in mid-February and start learning about when our education abroad fair will be happening. What's going to be awesome about our fair is we're kind of having it like a Dungeons and Dragons game a little bit, where you're going to be traveling around on a map, and each one of the stops on the map will be a new session talking about. So I'm not going too in depth right now because we're going to get really into it in early March. But if you're like, hey, I want to study abroad this fall, or I want to try to figure out this summer, there's no reason that you cannot reach out to us. So education abroad at Miami OH is our basic email, comes to all of us and gets spread around as we are best suited to answer those questions. And this is your lovely team here working for you and have been working this whole time, mostly from home like I am today. But we're here to help you get abroad and answering your questions. So I did notice that we did have a couple of parents on here. Parents, please, like, we're here. This is what we do. Feel free to reach out to us at any time and ask those hard questions, because that's what we're here to do and help. And sometimes your student doesn't know either, and they're just like, I don't know, Mom. So we're certainly here to help you. And we will be having some Instagram live during our build up to our fair. So make sure you do follow us and be able to check out some of these Instagram live videos that we might be having. And if there's any other questions, now's the time. Well, okay, I'm gonna turn this off and get back to my screen. And I really do appreciate everybody who reached out today and joined us. And we look forward to having your student virtually in our office or going abroad here in the near future. So I really do appreciate that. There's a, yes, please ask a question. Go ahead. You can go off mute too if you want. Sure, there's just a little bit of question about quarantine. We are not 100% sure what quarantine is going to look like. Every individual country has been different. So we just landed in Luxembourg, and all we needed to have in Luxembourg was a COVID test showing that it was negative, taken within the last 48 hours. And that includes travel time. So for us, the complication was a lot of our students were leaving on Sunday, which means on Saturday, they had to have that test taken and the results returned to them before they left. So that was the big stressor this last term. And then we do have some students who went to South Korea who are going to South Korea actually in a month from now, and they also will be experiencing a quarantine. So those in particular are actually issued a quarantine, but as of right now, there aren't any in any of the particular European countries that we're going to. Mostly, you just have to show up with a negative test. which is its own complication, but not as bad as the quarantine. So hopefully your student going to Lux this summer will just have to have a negative test. All right, thank you everyone for your time. Everyone have a great day.